because looking at figures, looking at procedures, it makes me question that most of the team on the other side, some of them were my supervisors. And it makes me feel like, did I learn from the wrong people? When we look at this project of Busega-Mpigi Express Highway, from here you've highlighted that the project was 547 billion. I don't want to mention some other figures. You said you have unpaid of 82 billion. And then when you go to the progress at June 2026, you have said the progress is at 47. That's physical. 47.15%. And then the financial progress is 49.44%. But when you go to unpaid and subtract it from the 547, it gives you, and then convert it to a percentage. It shows you that financially, the percentage of paid is 41.9%. Maybe my mathematics is wrong, but you can do the calculations. So it doesn't reflect that financially it is 49. I don't know, maybe you assume members of parliament cannot do simple math. So it shows that financially you've paid to a tune of 84.9. I don't know why you're hiding the rest. So we shall need explanation on that. Because if you've paid 500, if you've paid beyond, if you've only unpaid 82 billion, so when you subtract from 547, it changes the whole perspective. And then I also want to raise part on what my other colleagues have raised. I want to ask, who ordered for the approval of the changes? Maybe from here we can learn. Sometimes we need to see these faces so that we can know the people that are making this country lose money. Because we don't want to make all of you look like you all did the thing, the changes, isn't it? So we need who? Who is that? So that the Ugandans can see on these cameras that that's the man that changed the designs and then increased the money, you know, for his own purposes. So we need to know that. I take it back to Chair. I know later on I will add more input. Thank you.
Honorable Maju, then Honorable Pio.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, on a lighter note, I hope the ministry is operating today because of the number of engineers we have here. But Chair, I think critical for us to note is that we are discussing one of the most scrutinized infrastructure projects in this country. That is the Mpigi-Busega Highway. Last year, around October 2025, you did actually inform Parliament that the original contract was awarded before completion of the detailed designs. That was October when we were pushing for the loan. And that necessitated that a redesign had to be made. I don't know whether this is specific to only this project or it's actually something that is synonymous across all projects. For me and many Ugandans, the concern that we definitely have is with all the experience, with all the engineering experience. Right now, if we combined in this room, the experience of engineers, we may be having over 1,000 years of experience in the ministry. But we fail at the basics of your engineering requirements. So for me, my question is, why was the contract awarded before the final engineering designs were actually completed? And I would also be interested in knowing, what are we doing? Because we have projects, we still have projects that are coming. There are those in the pipeline, there are those you're planning. What measures have we put in place to ensure that we do not have a repeat of this? Chair, my second question relatedly, this project subsequently underwent redesign. It had to go into revisions. And then, of course, after implementation had commenced, the implementation commenced, then we went to redesign. For me, that suggests that there is a very critical, that the critical engineering studies may, I'm saying may, have not been fully concluded before we actually started the procurement and perhaps even issuing the contract. So my question around that, if you could clarify whether the detailed engineering designs, the traffic forecasts, the geotechnical investigations, among others, had been fully completed before the contract was awarded. And for me, the reason I'm asking those specific questions is we do not want to be in a space where I am putting on a veil of an engineer, but then we are not following the protocols of what the engineering requirements actually require. I thank you, Chair.
Honorable Pio.
Thank you, Chair. From this contract, I note that the Acting Director of Legal Services is the one who signed it. However, when I look at the other contracts, for the other roads, it's the Director, Legal Services. I would want to know why the Director, Legal Services did not sign this and therefore had to delegate it to the Acting Director of Legal Services. Secondly, I want to know, is this a change of design or it was an additional design with additional works? Because when you look at the contract sum of 547 billion, already it has been indicated and paid 82 billion. And as my colleague has stated, actually what has been paid is 85%, not 49.44%. When you look at compensation, 75% has already been compensated, 85% paid, but only 47% of the physical progress. Are we saying that we have paid the contractor for works that he has not yet done? And Chair would want to get the certificates of payment for this particular road, because it's clear the contractor has already been overpaid as far as the contract is concerned, 85% as opposed to 47% of the works. Compensation has already been done at 75%, so he has no challenges of access to right of way. He should have been matching the 85% progress itself. So we want them to come out very, very clear. What are you implementing right now? Is it a redesign which has not been approved, or we are on the original design which by now should be nearing completion? Thank you.
Just information. The 547 billion was finished when the contractor was just at 46%. Quisha, if I may use. Okay, but next, Honorable Fred.
Honor Chair, before Honor Fred comes, these officers might have come early. Maybe you guide them, whoever, they pick cup of tea under NRM and PLOU. Just don't think you are in prison. Through our able chair.
I don't know if we have the capacity. The ministry has shifted today.
No, the clerk said she can provide water and tea It's only the food
Okay, we invite you to
consulting
a cup
the
of tea.
PLOU we can handle.
Honorable Fred.
Thank you so much, our dear chair, and the officials from Ministry of Works and Transport. I want to thank you for turning up in this big number. Madam Chair, I took time to read these people's documents. Actually, I realized that in the whole things they are going to present, there is very limited problem with engineering. The problem is in the planning. And failure to plan is planning to fail. This is at the rate at which we are. Basing on that, my chair, I'm looking at forward-looking oversight. I want to ask, during the presentation, the date of 31st, 2026 was mentioned here as the extended date. But when again I read through, it is talking of December 2028. Can this lacuna be clearly identified? Because, why? Please, our dear engineers, economists, do not intonate that we cannot read and comprehend. 2, what is the detail funded time-bound catch-up program? Looking at oversight. I repeat, 1.8% of the work spending and 2.5% remaining to December 2028. Yet you presented here 2026. Now I'm asking, what is the detailed funded time-bound catch-up program? 2, will you provide to this committee a monthly S-curves for the physical and progress 28 for committee monitoring? We need the S-curves for this committee to be able to monitor. Then, a question on who allowed you to go beyond what you were supposed to. Parliament was not sought for. Madam Chair, I request that the officers who shall be found directly liable to this, let us direct for further handling beyond here. Otherwise, there is no value for money being realized, my chair. These people have a lot of lacuna. If you read, sorry to deviate a bit, I read the one for Tororo up to Soroti, a distance of 150 kilometers. If you look at they have reported 19%. For so many years, we shall come to that. But I want to tell you, our engineers, there is a lot of gaps. And some of these, I'm sure, it is intended to siphon from the government. And you provided all these documents in the haphazard manner, the way you did, so that you could cause imbroglio members of this committee, so that we don't proceed. But I want to tell you, we are ready even up to 8. I beg to submit.
Thank you. And the change of the document you gave us has different dates of completion, which implies that there is another contract you are concealing, which we have not seen. It probably implies you signed different contracts. Generally, you have not been truthful from the beginning. Maybe, Clerk, you can as well get CID as we proceed to follow our proceedings in case, because we don't have time to waste. Honorable Alex. Honorable Chimeze, then Honorable Alex.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This side, I think you have listened carefully. The concerns this side are mainly on the design change or the design changes. You will need to tell the committee what prompted the change in the design. I think this is what is being discussed from this side. What caused the change? We've heard there was a change and the road alignment was pushed to the swamp. Why did it go to the swamp? Number 3, why did work commence on the preliminary design? Was this a design and build project, or it was a conventional road construction project where a design is completed and works are let out on the red book of FIDIC? You people know what I'm talking about. The book of contract of FIDIC. I assume this is a FIDIC project. This is a FIDIC contract. If it is a FIDIC contract, we shall need to know, is it based on the red book? Or it's based on the yellow book? In other words, is it a contract that is let out after design is completed? A design and build. You get it? You will help yourselves in this. State whether this was a red book or this was based on the yellow book. In preliminary design, you need to state why it was actually let out on the preliminary design. And this responsibility may not be yours as engineers who are seated there. It may not be yours. So you come out clearly that somebody maybe told us to commence works because of certain reasons. You are all aware. I have been on that side many times.
Thank you so much, Chairman. I have been listening to my honorable colleague. Now I am getting disturbed whether he's a witness or he is a lawyer, this part of us. We need to get clear definition, because I've been listening. He was flowing well, then he started to. It's losing it.
More information, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Chimeze. Members are concerned that you are seated on the wrong side. But I think he was guiding them. He was giving them guidance.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was doing.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And we shall need this. Because if I don't give this advice,
so you are colleagues
to both the committee and that side.
Okay.
We need to know why they commenced work or why they let out a contract on a preliminary design.
Okay. Now, are you getting him? He's advising them. Okay, Honorable Alex.
Why,
Honorable Alex.
Mr. Chairman, this has already happened. We've heard that work was let out on a preliminary design. So we want to know from them why was work let out on a preliminary design. There must be a reason.
Now he's on our side.
There must be a reason.
Okay.
And for purposes of this, going forward, we shall now need a full contract on this job.
Okay.
A full contract, not only the contract agreement, conditions of contract, bills of quantities, specific drawing on, that we can examine this contract.
Okay.
Am I now on the right?
Now you are now. Now you are fully on our side.
At times, Mr. Chairman, at times I forget where I am.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Alex.
I think I'm on the right side. I will end here for now.
Microphone, Honorable Chimeze. Your microphone is on.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Alex Nionsaba. I'm a member of Parliament for Bufumbira South Kisoro District and a member of this committee. Myself, I'm perturbed by the presentations of the engineers. The way you are giving us information, indeed somebody commented, it's as if you are giving it to senior six levers. Because when you really look at the expressing progress of construction of the road, there is a lot to be desired. You understand? Right, we don't need a lot of pages, but there are a few things that you need to consider when you are updating us on the progress of the road. And for the Busega issue, this Busega, I've never seen where a full government commits funds for the construction of a road from a draft design. So we would want to know who are those who made the drafts, the draft designs, and who are those who convinced the government to commit funds to the tune of over $500 billion to construct a road. Then on the other hand, the regulations governing procurement are known. Any deviation, any has to be and we would want to know whether that was also adhered to. It's really, you can imagine Engineer Wani was pushing the because he was saying they proceeded well in the first year of the NDP3, what they had planned, and also the government to be paid. They did it first year. In the second year, they did it. Third year, now the you can be, that's why could not with because they according to the fee given them. So you can't them for the contract money is the planned for. So it's a actually on the issue here. He gave 40 figures to government to plan. And it's a big issue, actually. So it's that big issue that is making us be here today instead of doing other better things. So, Honorable Chair, we need to know those people who made the drafted designs, go to government, planning in the National Development Plan 3, because they were given figures. Then the other one, excuse me, the other one, Chair, is about their presentations. They really needed to style up a bit. You need to start giving us what is necessary. When you are presenting the progress of the road, we expect something like physical milestones that those people have so far achieved, that Busega Road. do we have value for money for the work they have already done? Because we would want to know that also. They might have, they still had fun to continue doing the work. Then you also need to tell us, is the contractor okay? Is the quality and workmanship okay of the contractor? Because if some contractors make mistakes, they do substandard work, and the next job is out. And this is it. You don't want to be on them. And when you don't fault them, they do what they want. Then the other issue is, of course, about expenditure. How much has been paid, how much is remaining, and so on. Then the other one is also about the material compliance. Is the contractor using the right material? Simple documents. Some point and also for these guys in the future to give them work, and we know they don't standards. Then of course the safety environmental regulation was the E. It clear you to go to the swamps, and you know, sometimes, Honorable Chair, these swamps of ours have titles also. So you will find that the road is passing via a wetland. The road is passing, the design is making it go through a wetland, but you find the wetland still has titles. It has happened on the electricity, on the transmission lines along Lake Victoria, and you find that the swamps have titles. So this also is very important. So, Honorable Chair, we want our engineers to be serious.
Okay.
Thank you.
Honorable Chen, then Honorable Naivale.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Uchen Geoffrey, Member of Parliament for Kyoga North, in the Malata District. Honorable Chair, I listened intently to the presentation and I also read through the report. What I've noted is that most of the civil servants in Uganda are abusing the principles of democratic governance and rule of law. And they use technical gaps, milk from government. And yet, they are supposed, first of all, to exercise diligence while performing their duties. Honorable Chair, you may note that this is not the only project with this kind of mistakes. You will find that in almost half of this that we will look into, we will find similar gaps. But Honorable Chair, this kind of in other countries would attract severe consequences, like in China and North Korea, because a technical officer recruited by government to exercise due care while performing its duties, to make government to enter into a contract based on preliminary and defective design. This could have been done with malice in order to make government get more losses and increase in public debt. So to me, Honorable Chair, I'm of the view that after critically examining all this, that caused this mistake should have criminal implication, should be made to face the law based on their role in causing government this loss, because, as you have heard from them, the preliminary and defective design has already accrued other expenses above the 15% threshold required as per the PPDA Act. You may find that this project was not fully, all the information, including the geotechnical and engineering component of it, did not have all the facts. So my view is that as we proceed forward, based on the facts that are given, if we are to achieve value for money and help government in achieving its objective, any presentation that is defective, that is based on defective reports and design, the responsible persons should face the law. And I kindly request you that you should make the criminal department of the police, if in the next presentation we find this similar mistake, the presenter goes to police, give additional information, and then the police will examine if he goes back home or he continues with giving additional information.
Okay.
Honorable Chair, my experience in public service, when you find a registered engineer gambling with statements, you know that that person has done something wrong intentionally and has already put something in the pocket. Is now gambling with answers, because a technical and a registered engineer cannot do these mistakes and fail to correct it before commencement. Two, a technical person cannot ensure that the procurement process of this big project is concluded without due diligence on all the factors surrounding the project. So my submission, as I said before, this team from Ministry of Works, after completion of the presentation of today, some of them should remain with the police for additional information. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nayebale.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I will be quick. I would like to thank the Ministry, first of all, for coming in big numbers. And as much as the answers are not very satisfactory, Honorable Chair, I would like to ask the acting PS to provide a detailed breakdown dated up to date, because the presentation has scanty information that should include the earthwork, the layers and the structures, and scientific bottlenecks that will prevent their acceleration towards the new date. The date has changed to December 2028. And Mr. Chairman, they also indicated that physical progress is at 47%. Plan as the ministry. Mr. Chairman, has been that led to the new change. But Mr. Chairman, when we were listening into the presentation, they presented something to do with the swamp. I think it's my honorable colleague here who hinted on the swamp and the land titles. Could they also put it clear that they changed the designs to have new persons to compensate from the original compensators they had? Because in this new design, there are going to be new. Was that the alteration, massive alteration of the new design? can get new Mr. Chairman, I would like to know if the ministry is going to incur penalties from the contractors for the idle equipment that have been there for a long time. I am sure the contractor had given them time, and if they are going to incur any interest from the bank, because we are given money and we are expected to have utilized it. Mr. Chairman, I would also like to know if there are any fresh encroachments, because they took off time without working. The project was redundant. So there could be fresh encroachments illegally that now the ministry also has to deal with, leave alone the old ones. So I'd like to know that. And by the cultural obstacle that tree the so did the Nabu project, do you have, because it looks like that tree really affected the project. It is moving, not moving. I don't know if engineers also looked into that, but I'm sure it was not the cause. But Mr. Chairman, Honorable Nakato talked about the PAPs. There are 4,270 PAPs. Would like to have budgeted for those ones. Now those are among the new ones. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
For Jacinta, we have very many roads to handle. Those should be the last in this regard, and we hear from the ministry.
Thank you, Chair. Normally the fear for taking up a contract before a preliminary, before final designs are complete, is to avoid mainly two things. The preliminaries could turn out to be defective, which actually it turned out to be. And two, to avoid the cost increasing after you have finished the design, which actually also turned out to be. So my question to the engineers is, did they have this in mind, that when you approve a contract, still on preliminary design, these fears you could be a victim of the same, and what measures were put there to avoid this? To me, Mr. Chairman, I already find it criminal that a technical person who has all these basics proceeds, signs the contract, binds the government, has no final design, they turn out, it has actually not just increased slightly or doubled, but almost tripled. And we come to a meeting like this, the original cost, money, is already all swept and finished. The works are at less than 45%. Could it have been intentional that when they realized the 500 billion was not enough, the rest was worked outside the technical way just to find other monies, because the 500 could not cater for what it should have catered for? So I find a lot of unanswered questions, and Mr. Chairman, I find it a bit hard even to proceed unless those basic questions are answered.
Okay. Thank you. Honorable Jacinta.
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank the committee for their input, and to the ministry, we thank you for the reports that you've shared. But it's shocking, because you all know that one of the priorities by His Excellency, the President, one of the roads was the Busega-Mpigi Express Highway. But it has come to the attention of this committee that there was an alteration of the route of the road by the engineers, and they avoided the route that was already compensated. And they chartered a new route that could have passed maybe to their lands, as one of the colleagues has said. So we would want to know from you what caused the alteration of the design. Number two, can this project now be subjected to a corruption probe? As a ministry, what have you done? Which action have you taken on this mismanagement that has caused anomalies? Have you, by any chance, charged any officials? We want to know as a committee. Thank you.
Okay. We have been joined by the Minister. And he has been a champion on television fighting the thieves. And we want to appreciate at least this time we have a minister in the field. So we appreciate your efforts, Honorable Minister. Hopefully we can help you. We have seen you talking about engineers benefiting 6%. Today you can just show us and we take them for you. 6%, 3%. We have seen you on the MPG Express talking about the thieves. Now you are here with us today with the apparently in quotes the thieves. So you help us today. Just say it is the other one and the other one, and we reduce the number. I can see there are many. If one leaves the front bench, another one replaces. So Honorable Minister, you can kindly give your brief, then we allow the ministry technical officials to respond, but the technical officials, I'm going to kindly request you to be careful as you respond to these questions. We have a whole day and we have so many roads that have delayed. We will not hesitate, like the honorable members have requested. We have been joined by CID, and try not to insult our intelligence again. Give the facts as they are and nothing less. Deputy Chair, you want to say something?
Chair, just for the record, may I get from the last presenter again, what is the new revised completion date? Is it the one of August 2026 or the one of December 2028? Which one are you owning?
Chair, the contract has been extended in the interim because the contract for the new scope is being processed. So in the interim, it has been extended up to August of this year. However,
are the relevant documents there?
Yes.
Yes, Chair. If you see the annex to the presentation, Annex 1, it actually has the details.
Okay.
So they are not in the main presentation, but in the annex.
That's okay. Secondly, according to you, what is the financial progress? Is it 49% or it's what we have estimated as 85%? Some of us are able to do arithmetic, though not mathematics.
The financial progress is, the 49% is against the revised estimate. It's not against the original contract. The financial progress is measured against the revised scope of 1.3.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you also revised what is called the IRR, internal rate of return?
Yes. The bank undertook reappraisal for revised scope last year, and they updated the economic analysis.
You have the figures?
Yes.
What is it?
The IRM, I don't know, but the NPV is 29.
And the last chair from me, during your communication you talked about toll revenue, but the presenter has not reflected this one anywhere. Is there any projected toll revenue for the project?
If I may come in briefly. This side. This side, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
About the NPV. What do you say the NPV was? 29 what? I had something like 29. 29 what? The NPV.
$29 million, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
We must always give it a unit. You say 29.
Okay.
I wouldn't know whether it was 29 billion or 29 million.
Honorable Minister.
That's fine.
Honorable Chair, I beg your indulgence up there.
Yes.
Honorable Chair, the minister has come. In fact, Honorable Minister, you are most welcome. But Honorable Chair, as a welfare officer, I'm receiving impressions that the officer may want something. Maybe invite them because they may not want. So they may officially, those who wish, we don't want members to think this Parliament and NRM and PLOU we are mean. So kindly.
Honorable, are you on which side now?
I'm on this side, but I don't want them to look. Yeah.
I had invited them earlier for tea, but they are not moving.
Thank you. Clerk, I think you have heard.
Honorable Minister, we have the Minister give his remarks.
Just one more to the ED. Just one. Thank you very much, Chair, for giving me way. The ED is the administrative head of the institution. And many of the queries which have come from this side, many of them are accountability queries. I want to ask the ED, the PS, are you in charge of this ministry? Are you alive to the business of the Ministry of Works? If you are in charge, why have you left consultants and contractors take charge of this ministry? Going by the report that has just been presented by you and your technical staff.
Mr. Chair, a small demand before the minister. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I don't want to distract the minister. Could they also give us the list of the PAPs, the affected persons of this new project? They'll present it to you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. But largely, when they diverted the road to the swamp, we don't expect any compensation. Because unless they are built in swamps, because the NEMA Act does not give compensation to people in wetlands. It's very clear. So I don't know if they have compensated the fish, but they are going to tell us if the swamps have titles. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I will begin by apologizing for coming a bit late. But it's because one of our ministers in the ministry lost the father, and we have been trying to make all ends meet. And we apologize. We didn't turn up at the earlier date due to other commitments, and we are happy that you understood us. And that's how you see we wanted to ensure we prepare very well. We come with a very big team. That's why it's even yesterday, Honorable Chair, you are surprised the delegation which is before you. And this is what we wanted, because previously you could find a minister comes with 0 or 4 people, and you find some other technical officers that are carrying the cross which is not theirs. That's why we decided to bring all these ones, in case you realize one of them committed a mistake. You don't accuse the boss when the junior person. And the Honorable Chair and honorable members here, it is our mandate as the Ministry of Works and Transport to ensure we hand our infrastructure in this country, especially our roads. Our roads even would need tarmac in their area, not specifically for luxury, but this is how it helps people transport their commodities to the market and even doing cross-border and interstate business. And also at the same time, where tarmac has not reached, it is our role and mandate to ensure the maram roads are maintained well, because we know that all roads in the country cannot be tarmacked at once. We need to tarmac them in a phased manner, but also we ensure the projects we have taken, they don't stay for a very long time. And I'm happy when you asked for the comprehensive report to an extent of reaching the contracts. We see how some of these contracts are signed. Honorable Chair, I do agree, I'm leading a team. Not all the people who are in front of us here are spoiled, because now the picture is all Ministry of Works and Transport people, they are thieves. This is not something which originated from me You had even the statements of the head of state even before appointment of the new cabinet. Me, I'm inheriting a team with instructions on table. Instructions, these are reports which come from you and with guidance both from Parliament, from Cabinet, that this is how we want our country to move. And our people, they are very good engineers. They know what to do, except some of them along the way, they gas spray. That's how you are able to hear someone signing a contract when there are no designs. Some of these roads you will see someone sign a contract when even there is no right of way. When he or she knows this road is supposed to pass on the ground, not in the air, the contractor goes on site, spends there 2 years, eventually charges the government billions of money for equipment. This is another form of treason, really. How can you commit government without right of way? You will see, like the Segampigi Express, the way you have rightly said, some of them here, they will tell you there's no problem there. If I tell you you have given them a chance, they will tell you there's no problem. But in actual senses, there is a problem. A project which was supposed to cost 547 billion, because of changing of the alignment, it goes to 1.3 trillion. And eventually, that money is not enough. We need more 700 billion, which will go to 2 trillion. This is on record, if the road is to be finished. But the problem is quite surprising, but we don't feel shy to tell you because our supervisors and they don't give us money. But all these are individual problems. Some of the people who have been bad along the way, they went off. Others still we continue, but we are working to solve this problem. However, there are also some projects which are progressing well, and someone will ask you why is it others are progressing or not progressing. There are different engineers which are put on these projects. Now for like the Segampigi, I will give my remarks briefly at the same time answering a few questions I had from here. It is true the road was diverted from the dry land to a wetland. And the investigations are still going on, but the preliminary investigations show a few individuals had some structures ahead after the swamp. So the only way to reach on their buildings was through the swamp. Unfortunately, as you reach now, all of them are demolished, but reports are available.
Honorable Minister, maybe because you don't want to say all these individuals are involved, you tell us the individuals.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair. And again, the issue of the titles, it is true there were titles in the swamp, but I think by the time they wanted to compensate them, already the whistleblowers had brought this on board, and those titles, they are not paid. But if supposing no one had brought it to attention of the government, the titles also could have been paid. We know very well the title does not belong to, a swamp does not belong to any person. But these are our innocent engineers, I think also, who are under the pressure of some other people who are pressurizing them. But I'm happy the people I have here.
Honorable Minister, you are not telling us. You are speaking, but you are not telling us.
Honorable Chair, allow me to finish.
Will you give us the names at the end?
I will give you, allow me to make my brief in 5 minutes. I will give you.
When you refer to something like that, you must, because I don't believe all these are bad people. Some are God fearing, you can see them.
Honorable Chair, I will give. Honorable Chair, but as I told you, not all these are bad, and even those ones who are about to get spoiled and were involved in any way.
There are some on the way.
We have had several meetings in the ministry on how to move in a new line, especially to avoid overcommitting government. And we have come up with some of the new plans we shall move with. There is no signing of any contract of the road if the right of way is not acquired by 50%. But even the President has guided this that 50% is less, it should be 75. Then number two, even when someone has done his work, we have had a problem. Someone presents an IPC, a certificate for payment last year, is not paid, but someone brings it today is paid that irregularity. Someone who worked 1 year back, you have not paid the certificate. Someone who brings it 2 weeks, you pay. That also hinders our contractors find they are handicapped, they don't have money, I think due to these ones who are suffocating them. Then also, we have made it in a way, keep on talking to these people, they're also human beings. A few ones, that's how even all of us, we go to Sunday every day. We go there to repent the sins we have committed. Also at the same time, we listen to the clergy, how they're educating us. So I must tell you, I'm presenting a team which is transformed and committed to solve the challenges which are there. But I'm happy through you, Chair, and this committee, even Parliament, even the head of state, they are committed, whoever was involved in these problems we are hearing. They are keeping on getting one by one. The Segampigi, I will answer what someone asked. The people who are suspected were implicated. That's why you saw our PS being interdicted. And yet by that time, he was not much involved in these things. The PS was interdicted. And we have a number of engineers who are recording statements at IGG. I want to leave it at that. IGG is handling. And even those who left government, they were involved, the president has guided. They have to be checked and they are worked on. And we are happy the president is taking lead in most of these things. And even, it's not only Segampigi, other projects. As I was leaving this morning, my office, I saw a letter from the president sacking 6 engineers, including a few I'm seeing on this front bench here, sacking them, not even interdicting they should go. And is choosing them on projects of Segampigi, Mubende, Fort Portal Road, the Masaka Mutukula, and many other projects. So we are happy the head of state is also coming up to help the different investigating agencies. And even some of them, as they delay, is coming up. For us, we are here to implement. But what I must say, we are not considering the corrupt. Neither our people are here that they are supporting the corrupt. We are there to deliver our mandate, and we are also happy that Parliament increased our budget, because we had also an issue of the budget was low, yet the contractors were demanding a lot of money, but most of this money was coming through how badly our contracts are drafted. You find, for example, a project is given 500 billion to finish the work. But even as we reach the way, almost like 250 billion is taken in things of the engineers. Is it claims that when you write to the ministry for design, they delay to give you, and some of them delay for their own reasons. They know once I delay, this man will charge and they get kickback. So as he has mentioned, so you really find we have been moving in an improper way. And at the end of the day, even these very engineers pass on those very roads. To an extent, even the areas, there are some roads which are not tarmacked. So we have made a commitment, we as the Ministry of Works, we leave the past for the investigators to continue, and our supervisors like you, the committee and others, then we set a new pace to ensure that we move on. That's why you see last time I moved to Segampigi, the purpose was, I knew the information there, was to ensure how does this project move, because the government has already put 547 billion, which is finished. And then now there was, we went to borrow, Parliament passed a loan from ADB of 900 billion. This 900 billion, before it comes, we need 82, which the contractor is demanding us. So I wanted to comfort the contractor to go back on site, who is already on site, is working, because the project must move. We need a deed, regardless of what these people put us in. So, and I also met the African Bank to ensure that we move on, because if it is on the store, I don't know whether, if they get them, whether someone will be able to bring 200 billion, whether they still have it, I don't know. So that's what took me there. But one of the chairs, I conclude, I must say, our people here, they are committed. Even those who are bad ones are changing. Even the good ones, they keep on guiding those other ones. But however much when the wave comes, it takes even the ones who are innocent. But later, they are cleared. But I must inform you, we are committed, even without the PS acting on other people, solve all these problems. And the issue of corruption, it has really contributed much to the failure of these projects. And it has even hindered the good contractors to deliver their work. For example, to get a design, you rotate around. A design when even you have the whole department recruited to do that. These are Ugandans who stay in their offices. But they twist around, and you find in that way, the contractor is also demoralized. Then also, most of these contractors, as we said, it's not only these engineers of ours. There are even other people in the country. A contractor comes to get a project, they will get like 6% out of them. But also I was telling the contractors, they give and they receive of a bribe. All of them are corrupt. In an event where the giver is not reported, they don't report. But for them, they do not mind. They are non-Ugandans. That money they will indirectly bring back in the contract, and eventually we shall have to pay. So we are condemning this, and we should condemn it. Then even the payment, every certificate you get, if they have paid 200 billion, they take 60% from you. Here also contractors will be handcuffed. If I get 200 billion, you take about 3 billion. There is some way a caravan will be affected. But I met them. They are also willing to resume work fully, and we continue with this project. And I thank you. I'm here to answer whatever you can ask. What I cannot afford, the people are here. And the completion date for the Segampi is 2028. But of which we think after 2028 we must be honest. We may not complete in 2028, depending on the challenges we saw. But the contractor himself is doing good work on site. And also, this is the lesson for us to learn. We should learn to support our local contractors. Our local contractors, yes, they may start slowly, but 10 years from now, they will also be big like these other foreign companies we have. It is also time we support them slowly. They come up to help us. Otherwise, the question of are we in charge of the ministry or no? Yes, we are in charge of the ministry. That's why some of those anomalies have been able to be identified. Some of them come from these very technical people here. Some of them have access to the president. They take their reports, investigating bodies. We are in charge of the ministry. That's why you see things that are moving, and we continue to move to ensure the one who had bad intentions changes positively, and the one who had negative intentions changes positively. We have the best engineers here. They read books and they know what to do. Sometimes they are tempted by the people from the public. They are the ones who are tempted them. You find along the way, you can see someone who might have been born again for the last 20 years, but he messes up in 1 year. That one does not mean he's easy to be born again. He goes back and repents, and he goes back, serves in that same church. So, Honorable Chair, thank you, and we are ready as a team to give the necessary information, because we believe when we are very to you, you're able to help us, you guide us, we move accordingly, we ensure all our Tamaka roads are completed in time. At the same time, the Maram roads are maintained. Even we go to help the districts to ensure that they maintain their network. Thank you.
Kindly respond to the question.
Procedure, Chair. Procedure.
Honorable Emma. Then
procedure.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Minister. We have been waiting for you. And there's some things I've analyzed from your speech, and they have left me a little bit confused, or putting my energy low. About 2 or 3 things. Number one is that the ministers seem to have, defended this staff, all of them, that they should not even account to this committee somehow. Because it seems now what we're asking here should not be asked. And then number 2 is that it seems there are people that even, don't respect the directive. Because there were people that were suspended here. And then you confirm some of them are still here. As a committee, what are we doing here?
What the Honorable Minister stated is he has just received the letter.
It's Honorable Chair. One, correct about defending these people, that they should not be answerable to the committee. That's why I brought all of them in full board. And I've given
No,
an
the
answer to
statement.
answer.
Thank you.
Then number two, quote me very well. I said, I've just received a letter when I was leaving office,
Thank you.
sacking 6 engineers from the Ministry of Works, including the one seated in the front bench. Even themselves have not known themselves until we review it.
Procedure.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that correction, Mr. The last one. The last one. The last one.
Honorable Emma, there's a procedural matter.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Emma.
Yes. The last
Honorable
one.
Boaz. Honorable Boaz.
The last one.
Yes.
Honorable
Through you, Chair, I want to know if we are really proceeding very well when we already know that some of them are sacked and they are still committing our government in front of us. Are we surely proceeding very well? I need a ruling on that. The minister has already confirmed to us that he knows the right people who has been sacked. And they are in front of us, again defending themselves, giving us, trying to convince us that they are doing something good. So surely, I need a clarification from you to know if really these people should continue committing our government in front of us when we know there is a rate already in hand of the minister.
Okay. Honorable members, criminal liability. Even if he was to be sacked and we needed him to account for public funds, we would still invite them here and they will come to respond to those questions. Two, some of them don't even know their fate. The minister has not yet told them. So as they are here, I think they are pointing at each other. They don't know who is going. So I think we are proceeding well. Let's have responses from that presentation. We have very many roads to discuss.
The Commissioner, National Roads, you can.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chair, through the Honourable Minister. I want to confirm that the Department of National Roads, under the Minister of Works and Transport, took over this project of Busega Mpigi when it was suspended. It was suspended because of 2 reasons. One of the reasons was because of non-payment. The former UNRA had not paid the contractor up to about 98 billion, and the contractor could not progress. Number 2 was the issue of financial arrangement. Because the original loan had been utilized, the contractor was not sure whether there was going to be additional money. So because of those 2 reasons under UNRA, the project that was handed over to the department was suspended. And like the minister said, indeed, with the approval of the loan by Parliament from ADB, the contractor started mobilization. With the confirmation of 10% payment from ADB, and indeed it was paid, because it was demanding 98 billion, but it was paid 46. And that's why you can see that the contractor has now started work, although the financial arrangements have not been concluded. Parliament approved, the financing agreement was signed, but now they are contracting arrangements to make sure that the contract is formalized with the new rates, and that's the arrangement that has been undertaken under the Department of National Roads, Ministry of Works and Transport. Chair, I just want to confirm that, like the minister said, indeed we have very clear instructions on how to proceed as a department and the ministry. I did explain to you the challenges we experienced with the financing, but I didn't progress on the other challenges which you raised, Chair. Number 1 was the issue of land acquisition right of way, and clearly, like the minister said, we are under instruction not to sign any contract before we acquire 50% of the land. That's an instruction that the department and the minister at large is going to comply with going forward. Number 2, on the issue of design changes, these changes we are discussing that has caused all these challenges. The ministry, then former UNRA, came up with design policy to guide the process so that there is clarity on who does what. Because when these things happened under Busega, I think the processes were not very clear, even it was audited by audit. But following that, a design policy was created under UNRA, and now under the Ministry of Works, we have regulations which now are going to guide, and people have to sign, they take responsibility. So that in future, under the department, there is not going to be asking who is responsible for what. It will be black and white. Someone will have signed.
Commissioner, kindly respond to the questions. We know you may have a way forward, but first respond to the questions that we are dealing with right now.
Okay, with the questions, number 1, with my recollection, I mean, I don't have the facts. I would beg that I think.
Who has?
Pardon?
You respond something you are sure.
Okay, what what I know is that this project commenced as a capacity improvement to fix the existing road of Busegampigi. Along the way, the consultant was asked to assess options, and the consultant came up with the report. He came up with a detailed report, which I will quote, and it is on the basis of those reports that the entity, the former UNRA, went to tender. And that was the basis for the 540.
Okay, that report, the 547 billion, how much did you pay the consultant?
I don't recall, because those...
But who has the information?
That information share happened before even I took over. It was before 2015.
Who was there before?
It was...
Don't you get a handover report? Now you are telling us to ask who exactly. You have come here as a ministry to give us answers. So how much did you pay the consultant? It's simple.
Would beg Chair that we prepare a report and we compile, because I don't have that information.
Chair, Chair, I'm disappointed. We gave the ministry enough time. And now, some of us are privy to some reports. There was detailed engineering design way before. Now we want to know who made the change. Who made the change? Because there was a GAF, what? They made designs complete. We have even copies. Now, who made the change? And the minister clearly said that there were land titles in the swamp. So the minister also, through you, Chair, maybe the PS, they provide us who was the title owner and who made that title. We are not on the road, but even the mafia who made the title in the swamp. So may we know who changed the design, because the original one had everything in the dry land. Now somebody just changed in the wetland because they had acquired dubiously the land title. So we want to know, through your Honour Chair, from the minister, who made the changes. Thank you.
I'm insisting on the consultant, because we know the leakages in procurements are always in consultancy fees. So you first procured a contractor to do preliminary, or I may say draft, for the 547. Then you again gave the same contractor another job now to make the fine. Just help us understand.
Honorable Chair, through the Honorable Minister, there were two consultants involved here.
Different consultants?
Yes.
Okay.
There was one consultant who did the feasibility study and detailed design. He completed his assignment, and it was on the basis of those documents prepared by that consultant in 2015 that they applied to African Development
What's
Bank.
the name of the consultant?
It's called the GAF consultant.
GAF?
GAF.
How much did you pay?
I don't have the figure of it, Honorable Chair.
So who has? You just point. You have very many. Just point. Say.
Because there was the engineer Patrick Mulembe and the engineer Moses Ochole, and unfortunately they are not here. Those who manage that contract.
We have the deputy PS, acting PS, sorry, who should be now in custody of this information as the accounting office.
Honorable Chair, I request that we prepare this information and provide it. We shall find it.
So you don't know?
Right now, I cannot give you an answer.
Okay, how much did you pay the second consultant?
Now, the second consultant was...
Who did the final? And why did you bring, and the name of the company, and why you brought a second consultant?
Now, the second consultant was supposed to be hired to do the design review and construction supervision. This consultant is called the DOA. Yes, so his job was to review the design that was prepared by GAF, and if there were any gaps, he was supposed to address those gaps.
They can't hear. Maybe you pull your microphone closer.
Okay, the consultant, the second consultant, was hired to do a detailed design review and construction supervision to supervise the contractor. Now, that consultant
The details, I think we have them. The contract manager can give them. Because for that one, the details are around.
The second consultant was Doha.
Was Doha, yes.
They submitted a report in April 2021.
Yes.
What was the amount on that report? The total amount the consultant had reviewed to make that final scope and design.
The civil works was, I think, 1.3.
Do you have a copy of that document?
I don't have it here, but I can share.
So, Chair, may we know, is it this new consultant who diverted or what?
No. Even that one, there are still issues. The first consultant did what you call draft preliminary. That was GAF. And they used the draft design and scope to borrow money from African Development Bank to come to Parliament here and approve, to even get a contract and sign using the draft. Then they now get Doha now to do the final scope and design. The amount from the documentation I have, it was 680 billion from Doha. You have a chance, you have about 30 minutes to present that report that is contrary to what we have. So now the contractor says, no, that is too little. I need to go and do my own calculation. They come up with 1.2 billion, which is 218% change from the 547. You want... Honorable Minister, you help us. The people don't know.
Chair, maybe... Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I think what I know, these are things which happened in 2015, most of the information which you need, when UNRWA was still in existence. And it is true, some of these engineers were there, but still serving under lower positions. And when they were coming here, they forgot the past and concentrated on the present. I'm kind of requesting, if you can give us time, even before we leave, because we know we're here at the whole day, you will allow us, we make some calls that before we finish in the evening, we present this information to you. Because I'm sure they're going to tell you lies, and eventually report they present something different. But this information is available. We can make calls before the committee ends. They bring us that very important information which you need.
Honorable Chair, I have some information.
Honorable Nathan, then Honorable Swaka.
I am surprised. When one is talking, he's talking of former UNRWA, he was part of UNRWA, and the director of planning. Why don't you be accountable? Nobody's going to take you to court. But the moment we can know the truth, the better. Because you could not have been there, but you became a director of planning. When did you become a director?
I became a director in October 2015.
2015?
October, yes.
Thank you. So when you look at this agreement, you are part of it. You should own up, please. And we'll move on. I thank you.
Honorable Swaka.
Honorable Chair, Gulf they are talking about, I have a copy of the report, which I can share to you. In 2013, they did a detailed, and the distance for this Busega was 32, but the contract was for 23. You know, the consultant made 30 something, and he guided on the amount. Now UNRWA reduced even the kilometers, but increased the cost. So you see, the kilometers were 32 with that 500. Now here, the road was reduced by close to 9 kilometers, and the price hiked. So I think wanted to know who made the changes and why, who brought Doha and why the changes. Because Gulf made at 32, and that was his cost. Now this one.
Mr. Wani, you came with most of these projects from UNRWA.
Yes, correct.
You have this information.
Correct.
Give us this information.
The information is available, Chair, only that we didn't come along with it here. Because we were requested to provide status of the project. We did not expect it to go in this in-depth. Like information has started coming, my colleagues have started sending those who are not here. So we will bring you this information as soon as possible, because it is there. We will actually compile it and bring it. Now, in terms of owning up, the former UNRA was structured in a way that we have the board, the accounting office, and the number of directors. For me, I was indeed responsible for planning. And this project in 2015 was handed to me when all the designs had been completed. That's why I needed to check whether indeed it was a preliminary or detail, and the consultant is there to confirm whether he did a preliminary or a detail. So that's the information I said I needed to double check, and I submitted instead of telling you information of faith, something of 2015.
If it was, if you submitted a detailed, a final design and scope, it would have incorporated the tolls and the rest. So there's no way it would have attracted a change of over 218%. Mr. Wani, were you on the contracts committee that awarded this contract?
I don't recall. I was chairperson of...
Mr. Wani,
yes.
I'm going to ask you one more time. Were you a member of the contracts committee?
I was the chairman of the contracts committee.
How many members here at the back were with you on that committee? You just read out their names and they stand up.
I don't think there is any member here.
You are the only one who was on that, and you are the chair of that contracts committee. Which means we are dealing with the right person.
What I recall, Chair, is the actual contract awarded is the 554 that I remember. But the details of the details of the payments for the feasibility study, it started in 2012, like I said. The design process started in 2012. It was completed in 2015 before I became director. So it was what we got from the people who were involved in the design process. They recommended procurement process to commence.
You are
with the institutional knowledge.
You are the chairman of the contracts committee. You chair the contracts committee that gave a contract to a certain person, company, using preliminary designs. Just say yes or no on the microphone.
Chair, like I said, the consultant prepared a detailed design, which they are now calling a...
Did you use a preliminary design to award the contract, yes or no?
There was a design prepared by the consultant.
Yes or no? Was it a preliminary design or not?
I think to the best of my knowledge, it was a detailed design prepared by GAF.
It was a detailed design with the express tolls.
With express tolls.
You see, there was...
From the discussions, and there is evidence on record, on the documents which were presented, even in a loan agreement, the tolls were supposed to be constructed by O&M operator. There were no tolls in the design.
So I've asked, was it a preliminary design or not?
Now, on the basis of the tolls, sir, I think let's just clarify it.
It's not only the tolls. There's a lot more that was not in that design, and it was a preliminary design, to my knowledge.
Honorable Minister, before you came in, the previous presenter had already considered that a preliminary design was used to go and borrow, and also to engage in the contract. That is the information we had before you came in.
Honorable Naimale, you have been dying, itching.
Thank you so much, Chairman. Initially, I was coming in to be on the side of the Commissioner, but when he kept answering and answering, it became hard to defend him. But since the Minister has given, he has asked, if I heard him well, he asked that they be given some time, I don't know how much time, Chair, to avail us with all the information from what you've been asking and what his team has, because he also stated in his statement that these engineers might end up telling lies. So when the telling lies came in, I thought maybe now moving forward we should put them on oath, because when the letter, the adrenaline in that side has set high. So we might get answers that are not right also. I don't know how much time the Minister Chair wanted to avail us with information. Since he's here and he's their leader, he could let us know. So we are also human. We don't seem like we are here to push them against the wall, and the letter has come in, they are stepping in and out. We don't know who is answering to what. We might be talking to someone when they've had the news of the letter and things are not comfortable that side. We don't want people to collapse, Chair, but also having them on oath would be good. So by the time they leave, we know who is staying with us. Thank you.
Honorable Opio.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we need basically about 4 reports. One, the consultant report that brought the figure to 680 billion. 2, report that in 80 billion to 1.3 trillion. 3, the minister in his communication stated that the figure might again increase from 1 trillion to 2 trillion. We again need those figures, because what appears to be happening, we are just gambling and not telling us the facts. But fourthly, we need to know where the approvals came from, because these are substantial variations from the contract sum, and we need to get sufficient documentation. And I suggest, Chair, let's give them 1 hour to produce that information. 1 day might be too long. They might again change other things in it. Thank you.
Chair, through you, my senior. Chair, the minister, as he prepares that information.
Chair, I wanted to clarify something.
Honourable Minister, you wait.
Just a minute,
you may even start answering with mine. Honourable Chair, I'm receiving WhatsApp messages. They think as a committee, and the minister, we are concealing information from the public. The president was elected by the people, and the minister said the people were sacked. So members are asking, who are those ones? We mentioned them. It doesn't mean they will go away, because members, yeah, unless otherwise, because everyone is now fearing, he thinks he's the one. So in good faith, unless otherwise, Chair, you guide, but members are asking. Thank you.
Just one more. Mr. Chair, the minister just learned from the minister that this project, after 6 years, below 50% performance, this money of 547 billion plus was finished. Below 50% performance, the money was what? Was finished. We want to know from the PS, is it true that this money is finished when the project performance is still below 50%? Then also he has just told us that staff of engineers from the Ministry of Works have been getting 3% respectively from contractors before being awarded the contracts, but also on payment of their first installment of the contract. The PS is here. Can he clarify on this information from the minister? Is it true or it is false?
Honorable Minister.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair.
Let me just give guidance on the issue of the names. I'm sure presidential letter would have guidelines on how these people, maybe they need to write to them officially. So let it take its course of action. Anyway, we would want them to still be happy with us, enjoy our tea. So we wouldn't want to deliver bad news, but a presidential letter should have probably procedures to follow. So let's give due process.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you for the guidance. I would like to clarify on the honorable colleague who says I said it it might need more money from 1.6 trillion to 2 trillion. It's not it might, it is confirmed. We need the more 700 billion, which will take it to 2 trillion because we need to do the interchange, which will eventually connect that very road to the Northern Bypass, to the Entebbe Express, and other alternative routes. Without that, still the road will remain redundant, and that's money which our engineers looked through. They came up with that figure, and that's why I was saying before we end it today, in a few hours, all that information you have asked, we shall be able to submit it in writing. Our people already working to provide that information. Then also, what the honorable colleague asked about the PS. The PS who is in front of you, she's new. She has been under secretary in the Ministry of Works and Transport. Depending on that very project of Segampigi, she also saw the boss, the PS, being interdicted, who is under investigation. And really, when you ask her most of these things, she may not be in a position to have. But trust me, all the information needed on this project, including the one Engineer Wani has not brought, before it clocks 2, we shall be able to provide it in writing here to the chair. And if you get so, we shall even bring him up. But also, however, this committee has powers to invite, including those people in UNRWA who left, to come here. They answer those queries. If it needs me, even a minister, to lead them together with the ones which are here, I can, so that they answer this one to the committee. Because I see people here throwing out responsibilities, which I will not know is wrong or true or no, like what you're asking, Wani. It might be true, but all of that, everyone who is involved there, these Ugandans, they are here. Honorable Chair, I've seen a very transparent person, very patriotic. You can wish, invite them to the committee. They answer. Thank you.
I think, being the chair of the contracts committee, I think you would have more information even than the members. So if you want by 2, you should have that information, because it's also not proper for us to proceed without the adequate information from the stakeholders.
Maybe through the Honourable Minister, I was chair from 2016.
You now have the information?
Yes, I was chair from 2016 to 2018. This project was awarded in 2019. But it is started when I was the chair. But the award was in 2018.
So they started the awarding of this contract when you were a chair?
Yes.
But by the time they awarded, you had left?
They started the procurement process. But the award was in 2019. The award of the contract.
No, but it is your committee that evaluated these bidders. Is this true or not?
No, it is not true, Chair.
So you were chair of which committee?
I was the chair of the committee from 2016 to 2018. And this project was awarded in 2019.
So who was the chair at that time?
I don't recall, either Kizito Charles.
But who has information now?
We have the information, and the information has started, they have started sending some of the information for it.
So that's why we said we give you up to 2. It's simple.
That's okay, Chair.
Members, then this...
Honourable Chair was requesting, for the purpose since you invited us, this is one project, and we presented about 23 projects. If we would proceed with the others, meanwhile as we process the information for this very first project, because if we went back from now to 2, the 3 hours we should have wasted your time. If we proceed with others...
We are not breaking off.
Okay.
We are just saying we're giving up to 2. Then we proceed with the next road.
Thank
Members,
you, Chair.
we have a lot today.
Thank you.
We can't probe this any further without information. Honorable Emaj.
Chair, mine is just very brief. I just wanted to request the Commissioner, in addition to the information they are presenting, if they can also include the interim payment certificates and then also the progress certificates. The reason I'm asking that, we just want to compare if these are actually commensurate to the information that they are giving us. Thank you.
And the minutes of those contract committees. So can we proceed with the next road?
Yes, Chair. Mine is just a simple request. If the Commissioner cannot remember if he was on the committee, when he was the chairman. It means he has something that he's trying to hide us. So I request another statement that he's going to make. Let it be on oath, such that we can trust his words. Because you cannot tell me, I don't remember the committee when you are the one chairing that committee, surely.
Okay, but luckily enough, we have given them up to 2. And we shall have the documents for those minutes and know who chaired. Because now putting someone on oath when he actually is claiming he doesn't know the information would be really unfair. So, but at 2, if you so wish, we shall proceed the way you want when they have the information. So can we go to the next road? I don't know which one, so they need to tell us.
We are going to...
But the gentleman you give the microphone doesn't have information.
No, Sentongo is just going to present what we noted down.
We want the person who has the information to make the presentation.
Maybe, Chair, if I can respond, presenting the project, then the contract manager will come in and...
We want the person in charge to present that.
So, Honour Chair, let the minister choose the project and the frontline officer comes.
Honourable Chair, we are presenting Rwenkunya Patch. Yeah.
Chair, I propose they present it alongside Apache Lira Puranga because one is lot 1, the other is lot 2.
It's okay.
Which one?
So Rwenkunya Patch with the Rera Pulanga. So we are presenting item number 8 and 9 concurrently. If you have accepted, Honourable Chair.
Which is 8 and 9?
That is the Rwenkunya Patch, the 90.9 kilometer. Then he has also, Honourable colleague requested we take it together with Apache Lira Pranga, 101 kilometer.
It's all in one document?
It's on one document.
Okay.
Item 8 and item 9. It is following one another. It is on our Annex 1, detailed
It's
status
referring to
of...
the presentation, but it's all on this document?
Yes, Annex 1.
Okay.
The heading of the document is detailed status of road construction works for National District and Urban Community Access Road. That's Annex 1 of our submissions. You can go on.
Members,
we presented 30 copies of this.
Lot 1 looks like this. It looks like it's project number UGA 1030 and also this single document. Yes, I believe they are giving it to you as we speak. The minister has a summary. I believe you all have it on their presentation. Yeah, it's also on the WhatsApp platform. Members, it's going to be a working lunch, so you break off at your convenience. I'm informing them in advance.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members. I'm presenting on the project of Rwenkunya Apache Lira Puranga up to Acholibu. This project was designed as a corridor of 252 kilometers, starting from Rwenkunya through Apache, Lira, Puranga up to Acholibu. Because of the financial limitations. We are currently implementing Lot 1, which is Renkunye to Apache, that is 90.9 kilometers, and Lot 2, which is from Apache Lira to Pranga, which is 100.1 kilometers. The Lot 3, which is part of the corridor, is still pending implementation because of the inadequate funds to implement that lot. Although the the Islamic Development Bank is following up to ensure that we implement that section in order to have the complete corridor as it was planned. During the implementation of these two lots, the financier, who is the Islamic Development Bank, has also indicated the need to construct the Masindi Port Bridge, which crosses the Nile, because originally this bridge was not considered under the implementation process. So the financier has approved this bridge to be constructed in order for us to maximize the benefits of implementing this corridor. On Lot 1, we commenced the works on 7th of December 2020, and the current physical progress is estimated at 72%. The projected completion date is next year in February, and the major delay has been caused by delays in acquiring the site for the works to proceed. The purchase of the land has been during the construction process, so the contractor has been given access to sections of the site while the construction progresses. On Lot 2, which is from Apache Lira to Pranga, we commenced the works on 14th of December 2020, and the current progress is estimated at 95%, and because of the same delays, the projection for completion is in January 2027. We have milestones which have been achieved on this project. On Lot 1, we have about 73 kilometers of tarmac that has been completed up to the asphalt wearing layer, and for Lot 2 we have about 85 kilometers which have been implemented up to the wearing course. In the initial stages, this project also experienced challenges regarding the design. After the commencement of the works, during the construction supervision, the supervision consultant had an assignment to review the design and confirm that it was adequate to implement the road. However, there were two major issues which were identified. One of them was the flood levels within the project area had drastically changed because of the element of climate change. Then the other aspect was the initial design did not consider that this project was going to be implemented with the bridge. So the consideration was that the ferry, which is at Masindi Port, was going to continue serving the corridor without the bridge. So with these two elements, there was a recommendation to update the design. First of all, to take into consideration of the traffic projections when the bridge is introduced along the corridor, but also to consider the drainage aspects of the road, so that we don't construct a road which is going to be flooded afterwards. So the drainage system was enhanced in terms of increasing the size and the number of the drainage structures. Then also, because of the traffic projections which increased, there was a need to increase the pavement thickness. So the consultant came up with a proposal to have these adjustments, and this have been done, and it is what
Engineer, just help us understand. Did you also give a contract before a final design?
No, this was a final design, but when a review was being done
be wider. Which span is wider?
The span there is wider.
Okay.
Just, you have another project for a bridge, not?
Yeah, it is a separate.
How much is the bridge going to cost?
It is a separate project which is currently under procurement.
How much is the bridge going to cost?
It is estimated at 80 billion shillings.
So in other words, the contract has been, because this contract, 337, you say you needed a bridge and other things.
337 did not have the bridge.
Okay, but the contract on the site
processed that bridge.
The contract on the site said you needed to add this bridge to the contract more design. No?
Chair, in the 10th Parliament, Engineer 1, you have information, but I don't know why you are not giving. Hono Jonathan Odur, the UPC man, when you went there, he said Obote's people cannot rely on the ferry. And he came, he wrote letters. We agreed as a committee during that time that Obote was a salesman, let us give a bridge. And because it was exceeding, I remember Hono Gudur guided that we should get another contract, and it was beyond the 15%. I don't know why you are not giving that. It's in the records. So the bridge, Chair, is totally separate. And that's why we got a lot of votes in UPC.
Okay.
Chair, I think also the engineer should come out very clearly. He's saying there was a redesign, did not have an on the cost. But when you look at the contract for Gulsan, it's supposed to cover Apache, Lira, Puranga. You've stated that the section from Apache to Lira is almost done, but Lira to Puranga has not been done because of lack of funds. Yet he says it's supposed to cover Apache, Lira, Puranga. The situation is that the redesign had an implication on this amount which was utilized, because you're showing that the amount already disbursed is 95%, 90% financial progress. So can you come out very clearly and tell us whether this redesign had an impact? But also, why are we saying that the section from Lira to Puranga does not have funds, yet the contract itself of 416 billion is supposed to cover that whole section from Apache to Lira to Puranga?
And did you have commitment from government of this funding before initiating this procurement?
Chair, I would like to clarify. The section which I said does not have funding is the section from Puranga to Acholibur. That is Lot 3, which, as I said, was part of the overall design of the corridor. From Rangpunye through Apache, Lira, Puranga to Acholibur. I would like to give that clarification.
There were many questions. You have answered one. Did you have authorization from government?
All these lots have got authorization from government with a financing agreement signed between government and the financier, the Islamic Development Bank.
Could you just tell us whether there is what do they call a price fluctuation during that design review? Whether there was any increment or subtraction or reduction? Because you cannot redesign and there is no price fluctuation. Please tell us. You could tell us. Maybe there are some things you left out in order to consider the same design. You understand? Because you cannot say you increased or reduced due to climate change and other things, and then there was no price, Please, I find it not friendly.
Chair, I stated that the proposed price by the consultant, which has not yet been confirmed through issuing a formal addendum, is from 3 on lot 1 from 337 to 405. Yeah. Because there were changes in the pavement layers by increasing the thickness, but also the enhancement in the drainage system, increasing the size of the drainage structures, and also the number of the cross drainage, in order for us to manage the flooding levels in the project location.
Honorable Chimeze, then.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Is the mic on? I think what Engineer is saying should actually be written in this report. And this is not unique on the Ren Kunye Apache we're talking about. But every time there is a change, please tell us what the change in that scope is. Is it in the pavement works? Is it in drainage or any other structures? What is it? Is it change in surfacing? At times there are cases when you may change from surface dressing to asphalt. Let that come out clearly and it will help this side. You understand? Mr. Chairman, that is going to help this side very much if they indicate wherever there is a change, what has actually changed. Is it in the earthworks? Is it the drainage works? Is it pavement works? Is it land compensation? All of those, so that we know what has changed. And in case you are dealing with the contract amendments, the scope of work has gone up, make a comment on the unit rates. Is the contractor continuing to work at the same unit rate, or a unit rate of activities has been renegotiated? I hope members you understand what I'm saying, particularly that side. Let us know if the unit rate has been maintained or it has actually changed because of the change in the scope of works. That would help us a great deal. And as I said, Mr. Chairman, going forward, this is not limited to this road we are talking about. It's not limited to Sega PG, but all other roads where there are changes, let us see this. It will help us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Maybe Honorable Chair.
Honorable Minister wants to say
okay,
something.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. This is an approach from me. You realize that some of these engineers of ours, somebody are stuck to give information because some of them are new in these projects. After the RAPEX, we had to change many of them because they are stuck on projects. When I entered in, I ordered they should change them from other projects, but of which they're not able to say. That's why when we had come and we request if it is out of your help, in the other ongoing presentations, the man who is in charge of planning now, Engineer Sentongo, can guide to present. Where he fails to answer, we can call this project manager. That's why you had brought them, because otherwise most of them, like him, they are new in this project, and the answer which the honorable colleague wanted is only one. This was one project from up to Pranga, then from Pranga Cholibu. When you see the 100 kilometer, so far it is 95%, and this project is progressing on well. The Apache, Lira, Pranga. But the main problem is, why did you remove from Pranga going to Acholibu? Of which I believe the answer, Sentongo has it, and which measures have we put to ensure we do what he wants. So I beg Honorable Chair as we go, if it is out of your wise acceptance, Sentongo keeps on presenting, but all these project managers we brought can be brought on book to answer where Sentongo, because Sentongo is the head of planning where all these things fails. Thank you.
I think our interest is information, so whoever you think has the information, we wouldn't mind.
Honorable Minister, before you came in, we had observed that these slides like number 9, 10, 14, 25, if your team had given us sufficient information there, we would be asking all these questions. things like date of contract, date of commencement, contract sum, initial intended completion date, revised completion date, physical progress, financial progress, and challenges. If they had beefed up these matrices, we wouldn't be taking all this long. Even we could be on the 10th road, by the way. Now we are jumping to and fro, asking questions.
Please, Honorable, maybe do you have this?
But the details I'm asking are not there. I have it.
This one also you have it.
Okay. Yeah.
We can improve in other presentations.
Okay.
Members, are there questions?
Yes. Chair, thank you. The engineer said that they changed because of the hydrology. May I know through you and the minister, which period of time did you get the hydrology, the rainfall pattern during your... Because I need to know, yeah, they are talking of climate change, but it doesn't come in what was the time, the difference between the initial design time, okay, the first design with this design review. Because, Chair, if the period is not much, the engineer to come and tell us here that technology changed, we need to know, and if they are bringing information, we need to know the rainfall pattern they use for the design, the first one, and then the other one they use for the next design. Other, if it's just a short time, I don't know how, which data they use. Hydraulic and hydrological data.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Chair, through the Honorable Minister. The design was prepared in about 2010, and government took a very long time to secure financing, to finance this project. The contract was signed, I think, in about 2020, and that's when the design review consultant had to look at the design, 2021. Now, unfortunately, during that time, climate change issues, the flooding which was across the country, River Nile and so on, exposed that design and the information then when even Lake Victoria waters rose to the maximum peak. So the design review was actually done at that very time. Yes, Amolata was submerged, and that informed actually the preparation of the design where proper drainage structures were prepared to accommodate that. On the pavement was prepared in 2010, and in 2010, the road was economically not feasible if you construct a bridge. It was feasible with a ferry. Now, with the development which took place in the area, and even connecting to South Sudan, when especially the Musingo Road through Kitgum was done, then the road became attractive because of cross-border trade, even up to going through Lira. Now, what meant was that the traffic which were estimated to use the ferry, you cross few vehicles, the pavement was thinner. But when the bridge comes in, it means the heavy goods traffic will be crossing, going across the country, and therefore that, in the redesign of the contractor, as long as you are going to have a bridge, that means the heavy trucks will be flowing freely at night and every time. And that factored in, the pavement had to be strengthened. So it was because of that the design of 2010 was now updated to accommodate all that traffic here.
Chair, I take it, this is the information I want. In fact, I asked them to lighten up. Now you see members are comfortable. Otherwise, if you concede, you bring examples like Kamrata, people know it was flooded. Don't. You have information, but you make the minister and PS to look. Yeah?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I have some few to enable us get more abreast and know the situation of how we are utilizing government of Uganda funds. You have ably informed the committee that this agreement is, this contract is funded by government of Uganda and the Islamic Development Bank. And if I remember accurately, the communication from the presenter, We are waiting for approvals and then we adjust the contract. I want, what is the role of max? We have approval of some. What happens to the contractor? Compensation delays and so on, including interest on delayed payments, is paid to the contractor. If I remember accurately, the nature of this contract, the nature of funding from the Islamic Development Bank. Causes a significant effect to the financing situation of the government of Uganda. We want to know, is it a pro rata that the increment, even the bank that is approving, will also pay its portion? And let me presume that maybe the percentage is not above the 7.5%, around that figure. Clarify.
Honorable Alex, lastly. Thank you, Chair. I want to disagree with the levels increased in the region, and therefore the change had to be made because of the design issues. I would want to ask him, what are the design considerations? The design considerations, even at the very start, must take account into those changes, because the floodings in Uganda are well known, from the lowest level to the highest level, for even a period exceeding 50 years. They are well known. Even Lake Victoria is known for the levels it achieves at the highest peak and the lowest peak. So, on the onset, a design must have all of those things. So what is it that you are telling us? Maybe you are not getting the right designers of roads, because they come and lie you and you accept. It's important that you have to be on the ground and understand these things. Or it's a collusion between the technocrats to say, because I'm sure we are going to find the same things in all other projects. Design reviews. But whatever they are reviewing, it's supposed to be in the initial design. Thank you, Chair. Honorable Nangoli.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My name is Gerard Nangoli, Member of Parliament, Ologonos. I'm here as an office official. Chair, I've been going through these documents, and I wanted to know this to the rest of Ugandans from Ministry of Works. What is the average cost per kilometer of a road in Uganda? Because I've looked at your documents here in terms of costing. There are roads you are doing at a cost of 2.5 billion per kilometer. There's a road of 3.1 billion per kilometer. There's one of 6.1 billion per kilometer. There's one of 23.1 billion per kilometer, like Busega and Pigi. So I would like to know, what is the average cost of a kilometer in Uganda that you base on to award this contract? Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Kindly respond.
Yes, burning one. Thank you.
Honorable
Chair,
members, we are
Chair, this of the contract for Apache, Lira, Porang. But they have not provided for Wenkunya Apache.
I don't know whether they hid or there is something. This one is in tandem with the minister. So, thank you.
So, Honorable Chair, through the minister, just as a way forward, we've got very clear instruction from the minister that going forward, designs must be updated, reviewed before we go to tender. So that by the time you start the tendering process, you are dealing with designs which don't need updates. That instruction, we have got it, and going forward, this problem is going to be mitigated. So in terms of process of approval, when the consultant completes the design review, this report is submitted to the ministry, the project manager. The project manager, with the division that is responsible for design, will review this design in terms of the input parameters, traffic and all those other aspects that have been provided. Once we are certified, like I've explained, that when you put a bridge, the traffic is going to be a lot more than the ferry, because even the ferry would move during the day and its capacity is small. That means you don't expect more traffic. Once the consultant, like the Honorable Member, Honorable Nyanzwa mentioned, that the hydrology, if the hydrologic analysis report, the catchment area analysis, is done by the hydrologist, and the flow is determined, and in that flow, you may be aware about a return period. The highest maximum flood period is, maybe we can say, there is a flood which is expected to return in a given period, between year 1 and year 120 years. That flood is a probability that the highest flood may happen in the 120th year when you're doing a design, or it could happen in the 10th or 3rd year, and that's the basis that guides the design. So in the case of that flooding level of that time, we had the maximum flood whose return period was about 100 years during that period. So our structures have been designed for a period of 75 to 120 years, and that informs you that if you are going to say this maximum flood is going to come at this period, then you are going to have bigger structures to accommodate that flooding when it happens. But otherwise, you can also assume that within the next 5 years, nothing is going to happen. Then you have undersized structures, like the way it was done before. So it is really a technical assessment which the engineers have to review, and indeed, once we have reviewed as Minister of Works now, and we are comfortable, and because the project is funded by development partners, we have to get concurrence from them, no objection, because of legacy, let me say what, that you don't do anything on the project before you engage them. So what he's talking about is that once we review and we are satisfied with the review outcomes and the recommendations, then we submit to the funders for them to give us a no objection to proceed. But as we have also concluded internal process within, and once we get those no objections, then we'll engage we have engaged the Minister of Finance and all that. Those documents are submitted to the funders through the Minister of Finance. But internally, government must have an approval of that process, the Chair, through the Minister.
Just as you respond to all the questions, is there any road in Uganda that UNRA has worked on and there have been no variations in the original contract sum? Any road in Uganda?
The road that we've worked without any variation, I think, is Kirinyi-Pali-Sakumi.
Only one road in the entire...
even the oil roads, we worked them within the signed contract. All it was under pressure, and those roads were done within the contract price. Even those days, there is something of financial contingency which goes up, but during those periods the prices remained stable. They only spiked during the time of COVID. So we completed them within contract price, those projects with the company.
So in the entire Uganda and the inception of UNRA, the only two roads you have ever constructed without change in contract price?
Chair, I'm just what I'm remembering offhand, but we can give you a list, Chair, of projects which are constructed at contract price, original contract price.
Our focus is going to be on your consultation fees. That's where the money is, that's where the leakages are. But you answer the questions.
Chair, I recorded only 2 questions. I don't know the other.
Any more issue, Honorable Pio? That's the minute.
Thank you, Chair. It's linked to what my colleague addressed on the cost per kilometer. When you look at the Rinkunya patch section, the cost per kilometer go to the upper section, it is 4.1, a difference of 400 million. Now, when you look at it, it actually comes out to 40 billion shillings. For the same length, it's 40 billion shillings more expensive to construct this road. These roads, the terrain is exactly the same, because the whole section is along the River Nile. It's the same wetland area, it's the same low-lying area, but the costs are substantially different. Perhaps it could explain what the minister said, where one side the commission was more, the other side the commission was less. I don't know whether that can explain that variance. But, Chair, it really raises the issue of the cost of construction per kilometer here in Uganda. When you look at all this we're looking at, it's about 4 to 5 billion. But when you go to Kenya, cost per kilometer is about 1.7 billion per kilometer. In Tanzania, it's 2.1 billion per kilometer. It is twice more expensive to construct a road in Uganda than in Kenya. Even where the terrains are the same. Look at the Kapchorwa Swam Kitale Road. Contractor is the same. The funding source is the same. The only difference was that one side was in Kenya, the other side was in Uganda. And there was a difference of 1.2 billion per kilometer. So I would want the minister to explain on the issue of cost per kilometer. Because even our NDP4 says our target should be 3.1 billion shillings per kilometer. But we are totally off the cost per kilometer target in our NDP itself. Thank you.
Honorable Kwizera, but I think going forward we are going to sample 3 roads and do a thorough investigation on them. We can be able to know what's in the bigger picture.
Mr. Chairman, my name is from Chisoro. Chairman, I have an issue to seek from the minister and his team. Because we know these papers are many presented, but what guides a load to be put on these documents? Don't you think that the ministry should have been kind enough to the committee in the country to put them in the matrix a column for economic rate of return? Because we have been looking at the road is coming. Is it because of politics? Is it because of economics? That's the thing I would want the minister to tell me. What guides for the road to be a product? That's one thing I would want to know. Like I have a road in my place where we collect, where UWA collects about 300 million shillings per day, but this road is not a private government.
Okay.
So we want to know if there is economic rate of return. Secondly, we know that this is the Ministry of Roads. The members are talking about standards and costs. Who is responsible to check the standards? Compliance. Unless you have a technical arm, a different arm to check if the ministry is doing well, then we will demand it much. I thank you.
Kindly respond to the issue of the cost per kilometer.
I think the cost per Engineer Mugenyi, you are here. Because we are developing something, you need to update the committee. The cost per kilometer.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Minister. The ministry has been undertaking studies. We had the study of 2021. We have the current one where we've collected local data. And we are benchmarking from Kigali and Kenya. Both governments have not given us the required data yet. Using our data, we have developed a cost estimation tool working with PPDA. And on Wednesday, we are going to take our engineers through that tool. And what will that tool give? That tool will be able to show us transparently how every bidder, how every engineer arrives at a cost. If you're going to do, say, gravel, we should see you put in your fuel.
Engineer, the question is, what have you been using to determine? You are telling us the future, which is good, what you're going to do in the future, but what have you been using to determine the cost per kilometer?
But also, Chair, the NDP4 talks about 3.1 billion shillings per kilometer. I'm sure you must have been consulted when coming up with that figure. But there is no road you'll find within this list where it is 3.1 billion shillings per kilometer. So where have you been getting these figures and what have you been using?
In other words, the Commissioner Rhodes is saying, before the minister came in, there were no guidelines. So the guidelines are just coming in because the minister has come in.
Members, can he respond to what basis, what standard have they been using in the past to determine the cost per kilometer?
Mr. Chair, I'll speak right now for the new ministry.
What of the old one? Who is going to speak for the old one?
Our colleague UNRA, I think, had their own cost estimation.
Okay, point us to the right person.
Okay, Engineer Wani, what is saying?
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Minister. Chair to you. In UNRA, we had a cost estimation tool. This tool is what the design consultants use to prepare the cost estimate of a road. And the tool had two steps. Number one is building the rates from first principles. Then number two is comparing those rates with the historical rates, contracts that have been awarded. And based on that, we would come up with now the cost estimate for a specific rate based on the specific site conditions. Now, the tool works in such a way that generalizing the cost per kilometer, it doesn't generalize, it works on unit bill item for that constitute the activities within the road. Now it is after generating that total cost of the scope and the unit rate, you get the total amount.
Procedure, Honorable Sevamala.
Chair, I kind of feel we're not proceeding right with what we are asking and the answers that they are giving us. We are using competitive bidding, and we consider the highest or the lowest, most compliant bidder, something like that, best evaluated bidder. Do you what you're talking about in a unit in a contract? Because ordinarily you're going to come up with a unit cost of whatever you've come up with. But when you go for bidding, these bidders are going to come up with different prices, and you're going to get the best bidder, and you're not going to tell the funder or anyone that we are not using you because our unit rate is this. You're going to take that person because he's the most, the best evaluated, compliant, something bidder. So if you explain to us that you come up with a tool, we shall listen. Are you going to come up with the contractor's prices? Are you going to lose, fail a contractor because they are not within your costs? Is that under the law? Does the PPDA rule accept that? So I think whatever we are doing, we are not proceeding right. The information we are getting is not going to give us conclusive answers.
Honorable Chair, maybe what I'm telling you, what you are saying I see, but may not apply on what you are presenting, because when you look at these projects, 90% of them, almost even 95%, is direct procurement. The procurement, there is no competitive bidding. You find like the contractor is the one who brings the funder, and which means the contractor names the price. If it goes to finance, road, direct procurement, they negotiate and accept. These people themselves, they accept. Some of them, they have not told you, they don't have even the powers over these contracts negotiated. So this is what they should be able to tell, but they are going. This one may not apply. You see almost 90 of these ones, direct procurement. There is no competitive bidding. The same contractor brought a funder, they invited that finance to sit in meetings with the price. By the time they know it has gone to cabinet, it comes to parliament, and it goes off. And they cannot have control over it.
So Honorable Minister, what you're trying to tell us is that the contractors determine the price.
Honorable Chair, most of these projects, the price comes from the contractor. Even these people, they try by all means to negotiate. They either reduce less or nothing.
90% of the roads.
90% of these roads we are presenting.
Chair.
When you realize, like maybe there's a contractor here, you find that same contractor is the one who brought the financier. At the same time, develop the proposal, we shall do this road at this amount. And again, it brings the funding, they go to finance, that maybe this money will be paid this way. By the time they know, they just send to them to consult. Even when they give the technical advice, sometimes it is considered or not considered.
You're right, Minister.
First and foremost, as Honorable Bema comes in, even if a contractor brings a fund, it does not give you legal mandate to breach the law. I am a contractor, I brought a fund. You are going to now explain to us the circumstances under which you go for direct procurement, as stated in PPDA. But before I go that direction, Honorable Bema.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. It seems we are not proceeding well. See, when the Minister says that most of these projects are directly awarded, that the contractor comes, brings his own funder, then they just agree. I mean, I thought this country has a body called PPDA that guides. So that means tomorrow Honorable Emmanuel can wake up, go and sell his cows in Karamoja, and then comes here and tells Minister of Finance, I have some money here, I want to excavate a dam in Karamoja. Just prepare the contract, then you'll pay me later. Is that what we're trying?
Members, we should thank our leadership, and especially the minister is giving some good information. The truth is that maybe I think there have been mafias in the Ministry of Finance. We thought mafias are only in works, but I think it begins the other side. But that, with the PLOU, we are going to finish that. But my point, and engineers, you'll have to, because if you want to understand the PLOU, you'll understand it. But, Honour Chair, is that these projects, because the member asked what comes, because sometimes when you bring too much English in the rate of return, there are roads which are historical. For example, this patch where Obote was buried, if we had brought this English of economics, they are historical roads. And especially like the road Honour Minister of Butaleja, if you bring these fun economic things and we vote well, we may not do well. But my point, Honour Chair, is that there is a problem where some departments in the ministries are left idle. We have a quality department headed by Engineer Muchenyi. You may find, like this water, we have quality in Entebbe. These people just go, they construct, and the man of the lab, you find that the ministry, the engineers, they rely on the lab, on the site. They don't know whether the machines are calibrated, and they leave, I think in most cases, the certified national lab. So from now, I need your guidance, if you can direct that each and every road, whether they have their labs, but at least the national laboratory, Central Materials, should go and check. So, Honour Chair, I want to say that, as you have seen, Engineer Muchenyi said, and he said, the new ministry, we don't have a new ministry. I want to clarify, because it can go to media, and they say, Honour Minister is in a new ministry. The ministry has not changed. So as people in government, I wanted to reassure that one. People may take it that the government has changed and the ministry has changed. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
But as Honorable Pio comes in, whoever gives the excuse of someone brought the fund and therefore they determine the price will be arrested. Whichever road is committed, whoever gives that excuse will be arrested on site immediately. That is not Honorable.
Thank you. Just a second. I agree with you. That's not an excuse. But we use most of these contracts. These engineers, they give the technical expertise to show need to work on this road. These are design and everything. Most of the negotiations, how much is it to cost the road, it is done from finance. How much will be spent on this road, for which period, even the period they give for completion, even get spending, how the board.
Bidding process is done when the contractor is already known. So you're just participating in it as a formality. The price per kilometer is already fixed, the funding is fixed, the contractor is already known, but you just participate in a bidding process just for legal compliance and to legalize the theft itself, which is very, very unfortunate. And we also have an NDP which gives targets. 3.1 billion. Actually, in NDP 3, it was 2.5 billion per kilometer. It's now 3.1 billion per kilometer. But also what the commissioner said, that they were using historical rates. It means if the historical rates are inflated, then automatically inflation is carried forward. And you end up with this continuous problem. So we need to get a cut-off point where this is stopped, and we have scientific-based principles to establish the cost per kilometer to avert all this. This is actually legalized corruption which is taking place in our country. The same amount of money we're using now, we would have done double the kilometers. We are doing about 1,000. We would have done 2,000 kilometers of tarmac. But because of this corruption and this kind of collusion, we are having this challenge.
Yes, Honorable Chair. That's why we brought Mugenyi. We have given him an assignment. Cabinet gave us an assignment that we should solve all of this corruption for once and all. They should come up and show us in the different regions how much a kilometer should cost. This is what the other man was telling you, but as of now, you will squeeze them, they will answer it.
The chairman, procedure.
Procedure, but Honorable Kwiza, let's serve the member.
Mr. Chairman, I am on the procedure issue.
Okay, procedure.
Mr. Chairman, I raised my issues, and the minister delivered it. What is very important, Mr. Chairman? The minister is talking about the in the ministry. We are talking about the ideal and the law. And when the minister says corruption, he needs to take to the committee and say how many has he arrested. Because now blackmailing the officers there, they are not being motivated. You are supposed to pinpoint one person and arrest him. I search you. Would you proceed to a role where, if we are discussing the law and the practice, and we are not harmonizing them?
Okay, I think from what the minister has told us, it is very clear, and I think he has been open, that in Uganda, a cost per kilometer is suspect to corruption, because the contractor normally lobbies the financier, who already determines, when they bring this money, they have already determined who will do the job and the cost of that job. So I wonder why we don't have contracts committees, like Honorable Pio stated. Why we have, you say you have bidding processes for what? So in Uganda we don't have a standard because of corruption. The standard cost per kilometer. Honorable Byanyima.
Thank you, Chair.
And thank you, Honourable Minister.
Okay, we are coming.
In the last parliament, we put a question to you, and you promised to make a study for a number of countries in Africa. That report has never come. No, I mean the report, it was made, because that the report was, the committee was chaired by... There was this Entebbe Express. The equal kilometers in Ethiopia, Adama Road, you know it. In the whole we are like cast, I can tell you. Because something simple takes a lot of time. 3 hours. But you go there and see what they have done. Because of they didn't want to. Right from Nairobi up to the. You go the way.
Of works. Thank you. That's the information.
Honorable Zadok.
So that report that was made be reviewed to us.
Okay.
That question can we put to?
Thank you, Chair. Muteka Zadok is my name, and I'm a member of Parliament for Uwezu County. I was impressed by the number of the officers who came here, but I'm shocked after hearing that their hands are tied. There are certain things they cannot make a decision. And according to their submissions, it is as if that the roads we have now in Uganda, they are like design and build, because they are saying that the contractors are bringing their financials. Probably they might be even the same people who are bringing the designers. Now, if it is a design and build, and I'm seeing that the challenge you are getting, especially in the difference of the project cost, is brought in by a change of the consultants. Those who design, they give in a figure, and those who come in supervise creating gaps and increase the contract and sum and the contract sum. So my question is, if the contractor is the same as the financier and so on, why are they changing consultants to increase the contract sum of those projects?
They cannot be the same. That would be conflict of interest. You cannot. Actually, it's just they are doing it indirectly, but that is how it is. But they cannot be. You cannot be the contractor, and again, you are the financier. But I think that is what is happening indirectly, like you have rightly stated, Honorable. Honorable Naivali, then we get response and break off for lunch.
Thank you so much, Chair. My questions have been raised by our honorable colleagues. I think we can go to the responses. Thank you.
One small one.
Honorable Sewamala, what is it?
Just a small one. Chair, I just wanted to this information from you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, first and foremost, in almost all the contracts, they say the funder's rules take precedence. If you go to African Development Bank, you go to Islamic Development Bank, their rules take precedence over. Even when PPDA advises on a particular contract, they will write and tell you, our rules take precedence, this is what you're supposed to do. I beg to know what you're doing about that clause. 2, all the pre-financing contracts are extremely high. The oil roads, the current Masaka Mutukula, you're going to work on it for 4 years, then start paying after the 4 years for 7 years. You're actually sending the debt into another government in the event that this one doesn't come back.
Sure, we are still here for some time. I want to assure media
that
we
was
are
just
still
a
here.
joke. That was just a joke.
We are still around.
What I'm saying, Chair, you find that all the pre-financing contracts are so high. We're doing about these pre-financing contracts. They're high. The Masaka Mutukula, wherever you go, where the contractor has brought his own funding, the price is almost times 5, times 4 in the long run. So what are we doing about this as a ministry? And what are we doing about the clause of the fund that takes precedence over PPDA rules?
Kindly respond.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair. I do agree with what my colleague is saying. According to me, because I'm not a financier, the ministry which is in charge of those financing is the Ministry of Finance. And they will be able, the best people to answer this very problem. And I do agree with you that even sometimes PPD has come in to advise, but the financiers say, no, this is the trend we must take. But according to me, I believe, when you are poor and you go to borrow from the bank, you must abide by the terms given to you there. If you want to build a house, the bank have to build it for you, they tell you it's a bit at 20 billion. In actual sense, if you have to pull money out of your pocket, you have to use 15 billion. You agree because you have no money. But I've seen the comfort from finance. They are promising that when we get our own oil, we shall now stop that method of begging. We shall have enough money from our pocket. We cannot always follow those laws that we say we cannot go in for this, it is very expensive. But I think what takes us to that trend, we don't have money and the financiers got no option, they normally go to borrow. But since this committee also has the power to invite the Minister of Finance, they can come and help us to answer what Donald Kulich has said. Why are the pre-financing projects, they are very expensive 4 times. Then at the same time, why do technical people advise we can't go that way? Then the funders say, if you don't want, you are not in for this, then you proceed. They will be able to answer that very question. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Another question was about the report. We should do as the Honorable Wanyima said. You gave us this assignment in the last parliament. We are still progressing, but we believe in 4 months. Our committee will have come on board to tell us how much do we need per kilometer all what you are telling us to go to Tanzania, Rwanda, these people have gone there. There is something a little bit remaining with internal consultations. I'm very sure it was the team of Mugenyi, they will be able to bring us a report. Either that report is rejected or accepted, but we shall bring it.
Chair, the Mugenyi said they have not. So, Mugenyi, I think you wrote to the PS, you give the minister, because you said they haven't. You know, we had some issues with the Rwanda, CDF handled. This is a small issue we are going to handle.
But when you are doing consultations, we're not limited to Rwanda alone.
He said Rwanda and Kenya. And Kenya route
Tanzania,
is our
talked about to Kenya, Namibia. So we're not limited to Rwanda alone.
So,
Okay.
Honourable Chair, I think, Honourable Chair, I
members.
think,
So we're going to break off and resume at exactly 2. We hope by then all the information will be provided. The excuse of Minister of Finance may determine the loan, but the cost of the road still falls within the mandate of the Ministry of Works. So this will never be an excuse where we find inflated rates per kilometer. You should prepare to explain to the dot how you arrived at that cost. So we're going to adjourn and resume at 2 p.m. Thank you.
Minister and PS, I'll give you lunch on a PLU ticket. Don't go away. Minister and PS.
No, do not believe. No, do not believe.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
I'd like to thank all our clients, our valued taxpayers, the people that we serve as we collect revenue for building our nation. I thank you very much for the questions you have sent through this program of Buza Commissioner. On behalf of URA, I would like to pledge that we are committed and we will continue to answer all the questions